Hello and welcome to my second weekly wrap-up. Thank you so much for watching the first wrap-up show and for leaving comments and asking questions. I expect that each one will be a little bit different in format and design. I mean, it would get a little boring if I did the same thing every time, wouldn't it? I think so. Last time I challenged you to show some of your best macro shots, either on my Facebook page or as a video response. Thank you so much to those of you who participated. There was a great response and I picked out a few to feature here. Shout outs to Christopher Linsky, Clement Ho, Herschel Fleming, Jorge Moreno, and forgive me because I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Rikshan Gunawardena, I think? Anyway, thanks for contributing. And here are two links to actual video responses for macro photography. So stay tuned for the end of this video for your next assignment. Let's chat about what's going on in the industry. Last week, we talked about the new Sigma SD1. Foveon. This week, we'll talk about something quite a bit different. One type of camera which seems to be gaining some momentum in the marketplace are compact cameras that have large sensors, more typical of DSLR cameras than the tiny sensors that we're more accustomed to having in the smaller cameras, like my power shot here. The most recent buzz has been about the Fujifilm X100. This camera is a 12 megapixel camera, but what sets it apart from other compacts is the APS-C sized sensor typical of DSLR cameras by the major manufacturers. And in the camera body behind the sensor, you have capability to capture raw images, 720p video, and program, aperture priority, shutter priority, and manual modes. Also, you have ISO sensitivities from 100 all the way up to 12,800. You also have many features and menu items that you would come to expect from high-end compacts and most SLRs, and a battery life of, well, 300 shots. Wah wah. In front of the sensor, you have a 23mm lens, giving you an equivalent focal length of 35mm. This puts the field of view at what I would call a moderate wide angle. Aperture range on that lens is f2 to f16. MSRP on this very attractive camera is $1,200, which is quite a bit to spend for a compact and basically puts you in DSLR territory in terms of cost. So, my question to you is, what do you think of this trend toward compact cameras with larger sensors? The images in my aging G7 here are nothing like my DSLR images, but it is very portable and does do what I ask from it. Is a large sensor in a compact camera overkill and just something that drives the price out of the typical compact camera range? Or do you see real benefit to putting a much better sensor and image quality in a camera that will fit into your pocket or a tiny pocketbook? Also, let me know if you like a camera this size with a large sensor, but would prefer something with interchangeable lenses, like some of the Micro Four Thirds cameras. Since we last spoke, there has been plenty of discussion on my Facebook page, and thanks again for those of you who put some of those macro images out there. I love collaborating with you all and seeing your work. Also this week, Linco sent me this cool grid to use on the fluorescent lights. I made a quick video this week to show off the grid, and I put a few shots on my site using the grid for my midweek mini shoot. You can check out that video and the demo shots that I took right over at SnapChick.com. And am I going to use this grid for my larger shoot this weekend? You bet I am! Several of you sent me questions on my Facebook page this week. Great fun questions, by the way. Simon asks, if I could only have one lens, what would I choose? Oh my goodness, what a question! My lenses are my babies, but all of them must go away. There can be only one. It's a death match! Okay, all of those guys were my babies. But for me, the 35mm best captures what I love about photography. It's lightweight, it's easy to use, and it sees the world a lot like I do. There is no one best lens for everyone, but if I could only have one, it would be this little guy. Heike is wondering when I'm going to jump back into the water with my awesome underwater bag. Oh, and I'll bring this bikini too, so stay tuned, underwater is coming any day now. Leigh asks if I prefer lens filters or using filter effects in editing software. Leigh likes filters on the lens. Me? I've come to love electronic filters like the Optic Verve filter set that I have shown off in Photoshop for the PC, and I like the filters in Aperture for the Mac. Now, there are some lens filters that I can't live without, like a polarizer, where you can control whether or not glare and reflections actually hit the sensor in the first place, because that is impossible to do in post-processing. Oh, and a neutral density filter so that you can use super low shutter speeds in daylight without overexposing the image, because you can't do that with software either. Dave asks which of my photographs I am the most proud of. If you looked at my site, you would think it was pictures of me, but it's not. I just use me to show off different techniques to you guys. The shots I'm most proud of are portraits of people and families that I have established a strong connection with. Some of you may see photography, specifically portrait photography, as very intimate. For me, it has its own special art, unlike anything else that I do. When you make a connection with someone while photographing them, well, it can be very special. Okay, that was deep. On a lighter note, Chris says, just a quick hello. Hi, Chris. Now you guys pause this video right now and check out Chris's blog at chriscarpenterphotography.blogspot.com. Hi, you're back. Would you like some cookies? Now it's time to challenge you, and I have an idea. If you look at my site, you know that I do a lot of self-portraits. When I try to show you guys something, it makes it easy to use myself as the model, because I'm always here. But now it's your turn. I realize that it can feel weird and strange and awkward to take a self-portrait. Isn't that kind of the point though? Do something regular, or do something weird and different. Post those right up on my Facebook page, and if you want to be daring, make it a profile picture. For me, photography is sometimes about pushing or challenging yourself to produce non-typical results. So go for it and see what you can come up with. I know that everybody is insecure, so I promise that I will say nice things about the shots that you upload. Thanks everyone. Leave me a comment, send me an email, or whatever. Talk to you soon.